Ibn Web, Quran, or something here. Fishful Think situation we got going on here. Excited here. Doing the Essex County All Day edition here. Got Fred Givens here, Macklett's own. I just remember just being a youngin' as far as when I decided to go to Immaculate, coming out of eighth grade. I just remember just kind of just trying to do my due diligence as far as who was there, who was doing what here, as far as athletically, I was a big athletic guy as far as just enjoying sports or what have you there. But I know Fred, is very talented. But outside of the athletics here, man, he was able to, go on and do just great things over the Holy Cross, and then even professionally, just in the field of education, and just doing what's needed to make sure these kids will continue to thrive and do well and succeed in life here. So it's only right he's from Immaculate here. So like I said, I'm just proud to have him on and talk to him a little bit, learn some things I ain't know about him, what have you here. So just hold tight.
Hey, bro, what's up, man? Sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good, Fred, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. Family, everybody healthy, doing the best they can under these conditions here we got going on in this world.
Yeah, man, that's what it is, So I can't complain too much. We had kids had COVID over winter break, but it was just a couple of days, they were good. So I can't really complain too much, because a lot to complain about.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Thank you, man. You don't know how excited I am to be talking to you, man. Like I said, so I appreciate you squeezing some time out for me. Yeah.
No problem at all.
Yeah, so I know you might have seen one or two of these here. Like I said, format pretty straightforward, man. Like stroll down memory lane, bring it back to what we got going on currently or what have you. I see, got the the Oregon Duck background here, man. No Holy Cross, nothing like that going on.
Maybe I should change my background. Actually, my son plays for Stony Brook, and they had a game. They played Oregon this past fall, but it was more about that rainbow. That rainbow came out of nowhere, so that's why.
Oh no, I peeped that. Yeah, I did peep that. Nah, cool.
Rainbow.
Nah, no, most definitely, man. But how you been? How you been holding up? I mean, just what you been doing with yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm living here in Teaneck, New Jersey. Been here for the last 25 years or so.
Okay.
I'm principal over in New York and Harlem. Been doing that, since I got out of college and teaching being a principal. So life's been good. Life's been good.
Good. So before being, Principal Givens and all this other stuff here, where life start for you at, man? I don't even know where you're from. Where you from?
Yeah. So I'm from Newark. I grew up, Brick City, Newark, New Jersey, right around the corner from the school stadium, 548 North 7th Street.
You right off Bloomfield Ave somewhere over there.
Yep, I'm half a block from Bloomfield Avenue.
Okay. Nah, cool. Then obviously raised there, and big family.
Well, my immediate family, no. I'm the only child from my mother, right? So my house is my father, my mother, myself. I always had a cousin that lived with me. My grandparents lived with me. But in terms of people my age, I was the only one in the house most of the time.
Okay. So I mean, there's some pros and cons to that.
Oh yeah. I get all the attention on one side. It's time to fight in the block. A little hard to get support.
Yeah. You gotta have that back. Yeah. Try to find some backup here just in case.
Yep.
Now, so even as a kid, man, obviously everybody says normal. I mean, everybody's definition of normal is different here, but was it your typical, childhood rearing as far as you activities and doing a bunch of stuff here as far as a kid?
Yeah, man, I had a good childhood. Like I said, I was the only person in my house, but my father, he comes from Linden. He had a bunch of brothers and cousins. So everybody in my family played sports. Mostly played out of Linden. So I was always, there's a picture of me about maybe 1 year old, and I have a baseball glove in my hand, right? So from day one, I had that glove or ball in my hand. So we played on the streets. Football, baseball, wiffle ball. Tag, freeze tag, and I was always running around the streets. Playing something. So it was great. It was great, a lot of fun.
What did you ended up gravitating to? It sounded like, obviously it was baseball initially. What you ultimately want as a kid gravitate to more?
Well, football is always my favorite sport. The truth, I like the contact, I like the physicality of football, but we didn't have any organized football teams in my neighborhood. So the first organized sport I played was baseball. I did that first, I played that, all throughout, up until 8th grade. And then I went to First Avenue in Newark, and so we had a basketball team. So 7th, 8th grade, I played basketball with First Avenue team, and then our first organized football was high school, Immaculate.
Really, really interesting. Now you mentioned baseball. What positions did you play?
I played in Little League, first base, shortstop. I got the senior league, 7th, 8th grade. I was fast. I started playing center field. So I played a little bit everywhere in baseball. So that was my first sport. That's one of probably my father's best sport. I probably would have kept playing baseball, except Immaculate won state championships in track, and we didn't win state championship in baseball. So
Yeah.
I switched sports.
Yeah. So did you had a glove, or was you good at the plate, or both?
I was good at both. I could bang that baseball a little bit. But when I started playing center field, I definitely enjoyed that because I was able to, shag down a lot of balls, hit over my head, and fly around. So, so it was a lot of fun playing center field. I like that better than playing in infield.
Yeah, yeah. And then even with the whole high school thing, how'd you end up at Immaculate? I mean, I know everybody takes the test, and whether it's whether it's Immaculate, Essex, Seton Hall, whatever the case may be, was that similar to you, or I mean, or was it something different?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of kids, in my neighborhood did go to Immaculate or Essex Catholic. Not too many in Seton Hall, but Immaculate, Essex Catholic. A lot of kids in my neighborhood went there. But the truth, I was supposed to go to Barringer, and my father, he worked in the youth house, and I definitely had a situation where, I had certain people that would take my back, and other people I thought, we had to, we had to throw the hands a little bit, right? So, I know there was a big push for me to be in Barringer, and be in that neighborhood. So, and to be really real, I was not going to all boys school. I mean, I grew up in public schools, right? Going to all boys school, I was not doing that. So, I did accept it, Seton Hall, Immaculate, but Essex Catholic, but I see at the girls, so
That changed the dynamic. Absolutely, that definitely changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
So you get to Immaculate. So you said you first to start playing football once you got there. How was that?
First time I played football. No, so we played in the streets. I played playing tackle football,
Right.
7th Street versus 10th Street or that type of thing. But
But putting that equipment on is a little different.
I had that suicide Tampa Bay Buccaneers helmet with my little Pittsburgh Steelers shoulder pads. I didn't know how to put the equipment on. Thigh pads, knee pads. I know what that was. I probably had them behind on my hamstrings at first practice. It was different. I was ready for it. I couldn't wait to play. I was dying to play. I always wanted to play, so I was ready for it. Funny story though was so Ben Sermons, we graduated together. So the first time he came to freshman practice and he played football, in elementary school and such. He came with white Lee jeans on, a white mock neck, and black doodle bead. so I didn't feel too bad how I was dressed, for football practice. So I saw him.
Yeah. I mean, all white on with leaves on. Oh, yeah. I'm laughing because I'm picturing Ben with that on. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting there laughing. Nah, so fresh. Did you want to, as far as you played running back your freshman year, or did you moved around a little bit? Okay.
It was funny. I mean, the first practice, Coach Kennan, there's a bunch of Kennans, I think.
Yeah, it's 1,000 of them. You got Coach Tom, and you had Coach Joe, Jim. You had a bunch. Yeah, you had a couple of them.
I think it was Joe Kennan, the one that he wasn't a twin.
Yeah,
but,
Tom.
He was
that's Tom. Coach. That's Tom. Yeah.
Okay, Tom Kennan. He was a freshman. Tom Kennan. We had 2 other coaches, and they had me. They say, you go there, go there. They had me at tight end because I did not want to play. But before I say anything, somebody said no, put me running back. So yeah, I was playing running back freshman year, and I think outside linebacker probably back then. Freshman team.
And then even freshman, you didn't bother playing like baseball or anything, huh?
I played every sport: football, basketball. I was planning to play baseball, right? Because again, there's about 2 or 3 starters on the baseball team I played with, back in North, right? So it was like, Fred, you gotta come out. You have a chance of, even if you didn't start, you definitely gonna make varsity. You get to play. So I was all gung ho on playing baseball. But Mr. Diet, man, Mr. Diet every day. Fred, you need to run track. We'll make you hurler, get you in college. I mean, he was in my ear all the time. And then I saw we won 5 state championships before I got to Immaculate. The baseball team was about, I don't know, 3-19. I decided I'm gonna go with the track and win a state championship.
Yeah, and people don't give Mr. Dyer's credit as a little on a low recruiter here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he'll stay in your ear. Yeah, he's staying in your ear.
Definitely did.
Nah, it did, and it was interesting. So you had Ben, and even you had Lance too. And all you guys was even from
Yeah, my
freshman year.
Ben was
Yeah,
there, Lance, Mike Reed,
yeah, yeah.
Kelvin. We had a lot of guys, John Wujek. Yeah, we had a lot of talent, in my year. That's just the ones I'm naming quickly. Rich Canal is a beast in track, obviously. So
Hmm.
only about 30 boys in the whole senior class. So that's had a pretty good representation.
Absolutely. Then when you realize even with football and track, like I'm kind of nice at this. When that kind of hit you?
Well, football, I just felt like I could play that from day one. And actually, so Lance, went to Mac with the elementary school, right? So they knew Lance. I think they knew everybody except for me, really. So the first game, I wasn't starting freshman football. I wasn't starting running back. I got in like every other play.
Hmm.
I think we wound losing. I scored one touchdown. And the next game, Tompkins like, no, Fred got to start, and I scored four
Hmm.
touchdowns. So
Hmm.
that's how I got my spot. In the Ben Lance, Fred rotation there, and then
Yeah.
tracking them is that you got to. I never ran the hurdles before. I know it's pretty fast, but I never ran the hurdles. And I started slow, but by the time I got to the end of the season, I won the freshman state championship. So I knew my time was pretty good.
Hmm.
Way better than anybody that in Macklin before. Ty Walthall for Senior Hall was kind of my competition. I beat him. He wound up going on University of Houston. So I
Hmm.
figured between basketball and track, my best chance of making it to college. And I played basketball for fun. Basketball was fun. So
Yeah. So you mentioned basketball. So you had those adventures with Jim Ryan there, huh?
oh yeah, he was our freshman coach. Yeah, we did. Coach Ryan. It's funny. I saw him. When we played Army in college, he used to come to games every year. So I would see him at the Army game. But yeah, we had good. Our freshman team was like I think 19-3 maybe.
Hmm.
A good freshman squad, and he definitely was. It's funny because when I was coaching in high school, we ran the flex offense, the 1-4 offense, like UConn when Calhoun was there ran a lot,
Hmm.
and Ryan ran it with us. So I
Hmm.
definitely used that when I started coaching, at the high school level. Over the years, I took
Yeah. Yeah.
elements of Coach Ryan.
Yes, I know definitely with Coach Ryan, you got the coaching, then you got the extracurriculars with him too. You know what I mean? Like I know he used to he toted that line over there at Immaculate as far as I'm sure he had many conversations as far as with Sister Maureen and everybody else here with some of his ways. But I think
Yeah,
you could probably attest to it too, like myself. Like I probably run through a wall for him, like I said, just in regards to just how he was.
and he did know basketball. I would give him that. Like he
That's
knew the
right.
game. And as I
That's
got
right.
older and learned more and more about the game, like he knew what he was talking about. He definitely
Hmm.
did.
Hmm. And then how you just balance everything. I mean, you basketball, track, football, like, and still gotten to study and everything else here. I mean, sound like, I mean, parents probably made sure like you took care of them grades. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, my parents didn't play. I think all Mac with my parents didn't play. They just said, I'll call your father up, and that's the end of my
Mhm.
nonsense. So yeah, my parents definitely did not play. But they were all about me playing sports. I mean, they didn't want me in the streets. I could go out to the school stadium in Newark, and I'd go to a basketball game. But hanging
Mhm.
out on the block, that wasn't an option, right? So as long as I said I was going to the game, I may snuck someplace else. But I had to go to the game, right? Be involved in sports, hang on the block, hang on the streets. That wasn't an option. So as long as my grades were up and my grades were good, they supported that.
Yeah, how was it for you around the way? Just going to Immaculate. I know you said mentioned Behringer, but just going to Immaculate, you ain't get teased or clowned or anything. Just going for you going to Immaculate, leaving the hood, so to speak.
Nah, not really, because a lot of kids in my neighborhood went to a Catholic school. So and the truth is, once I got in Immaculate, because that's 25 minutes from North, my house. Now I
Hmm.
was around the neighborhood a lot less because I was always
Okay.
up at the school, practicing or going to school or playing a game or watching a game. So there's a couple of friends that have from North I would still hang out with,
Okay.
when I got to Immaculate, but a lot of them I just didn't see as much anymore. And the truth is, the athletes in my neighborhood 1 year older than me. So Roger McGyver and Bruce Simpson and all those guys, Nate, they were 1 year ahead of me. And actually when they went to Barrington, their senior, I think they lost the state championship union, which makes me think, wow, if I was one more person on that team, they
Yeah.
would got that state championship. But so a lot of those guys that were really good around my way were 1 year older than me.
Oh, mm. And then even with you mentioned that, and obviously your parents staying on you about playing the crib, making sure you get your grades right. When you realize, like, you know what, I could probably help them out and go to school for free. When did that start registering to you? When did that start coming into your mind?
I think I always wanted to play college ball, pro ball, that type of stuff. I really after my freshman year, and Mr. Dyer, I mean, he told me on the he was sitting, I mean, at least once a quarter, he pulled me out of class, which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah,
He sit me down and say, Fred, listen, you get $50,000. You want $50,000? Yes, I do. This is how you're gonna do it. You know, you do this, you practice, you get scholarship. Back then, I guess it's 25,000 a year. Back then, right? $100,000 in your hand. So he constantly gave me these talks about what I could do if I stayed out of trouble in terms of getting a full ride. You know, so I always had that dream, if you will, but he definitely made it more real. And then when I started, winning in track, I started, see some results on the football field, and then seeing some older guys, seeing Kevin Williams go Lafayette, who's older than me, Merlin with the Brown, they went to, smaller school, they still went to school, Steve Theobald, track. Even some, we had a really good girls basketball team back then. Like those girls are really good. And see those girls and what they did, I was like, this is real. I could do this. So, I went hard for it.
Yeah. And then even playing wise, even back with football, I know you guys is always, obviously winning records and everything. Now you were in between that whole exchange when Coach Lou left and then you had Coach Finn. You was during that time, right?
Right. My freshman and sophomore year, Lou was there, Coach Lou was there, and then Finn took over my junior year.
Okay. How was it just even with I always wanted to ask whether it was you, Lance, or Ben, man. It's like a three-headed monster, man. How'd you, I mean, I know if you had it your way, you get all the carries here, but like how was that just kind of like you're a teenager, like, damn, I'm like getting all these touches that you guys share all of this. Like, how was it? I mean, I know you guys are all cool and everything, but competitively, you want all the carries. Like, how'd that work for you?
Oh, it was definitely competitive. No, I mean, no doubt about that. It was definitely competitive. I think, it made all of us better. But I will say, like, like I said, my freshman year, right, I wasn't starting, right? I was the second man off the bench, right? And then I played a little better and I got my playing time. My sophomore year, I don't think Lance played his sophomore year football. I don't think. 'Cause he loved basketball way more than football. He's good at football, but basketball is his game,
Okay.
I can't remember if he played his sophomore year or not. But for me, Ben was starting, well, Jimmy Golden was there. So, Jimmy Golden was the man, all Cali and everything, right? He was there.
Yeah.
He was a senior when I was sophomore. So, me and Ben would fight up for backup time, right? So Ben got the backup time. I didn't get it. I was mad. I went to Coach Lou like, listen, how come I'm not playing? Because I wasn't starting defense either. The next game I started defense, I did pretty well, but then I got hurt all the time. I think that's my shoulder. I missed the rest of the season. So technically no competition because I was out and Lance didn't play. Now coming junior year, what happens is the first scrimmage, Montclair Kimberly, had Ben getting the first snap. So I missed almost all my sophomore year. I remember he ran back maybe 6-7 times and scored a touchdown, right? So I knew in my mind I got to do better. I think I ran twice and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Next series, I dislocated my shoulder.
Ooh.
Mind you, Lance wasn't playing. Oh, sorry. Next year, I dislocated my shoulder. The next play, Ben broke his ankle. Lance laughing, walks in. First game scores 3 touchdowns. We both on the bench. So we always have those battles back and forth. Now, senior year, we finally all play together. I do think, Coach Finn's a great coach, but that's his first year coach. I do think if we had Coach Finn maybe 3 or 4 years later, we would won. We probably won them undefeated, and we've been dominant, right? I think. I remember the first game we played, I probably carried the ball about 20 times. Let's say Lance maybe 16, maybe 15. Then probably 2 or 3 times. The next game I carried the ball maybe 3 times. He never had a way like he didn't like to use all of us together at first, right? So I know the kind of coach he became. If we had experience sooner, we could have been much more dominant.
Yeah, I know he's figuring it out, man. But I just think about you guys, man. Like I said, I wasn't in high school when you guys were. I was in 8th grade, but I just think about the 3 of you guys. You mentioned Wu Jack. You mentioned Mike Reed. You mentioned. I mean, it was like Showtime, man. Like with you guys, man. It was just like just being teenagers is tough because I think about like, damn, I ain't getting no touches and this and that. I mean, but somehow y'all made it work in regards to just all of y'all ended up, getting those full rides, man. And so, but still in all, the competitiveness in y'all, I'm sure y'all wanted to get to it. Yeah, I know. In regards to even playing wise, I know probably Achilles Hill, a couple of them teams here, the good old Colonial Hills Conference here. It was like Cedar Grove, the Mountain Lakes of the world. I mean, I'm sure those are the teams that kind of gave you guys a little some headaches here. If you can remember back
And
when.
to this day, I can see Grove to is my worst loss. That's
Yeah.
my worst loss. City Grove, my junior year. Joe DeVivo was our quarterback. He got hurt, and we didn't
Mm,
have a really strong. I think Dominic was a backup, I think, but no, he hadn't really played. I don't think at that point. Now
mm,
remember, we threw 4 passes that game, all 4 were turnovers, and I think we
mm.
lost 7-0. We did lose 7-0. I do remember that we had made adjustments, like down the goal line, what kind of defensive front they had. Instead, running like a blast, right? Through the one hole, we would angle out a little further, right? So I angled out a little further. Dominic didn't know that adjustment, and
Okay.
instead of stopping to secure the ball, I tried to keep running and grab it because the hole was there. Hit me in the hip, we fumbled. We
Hmm.
lost 7-0. That's the worst loss of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a tough one. The seven. Them close ones. Sometimes you just feel like I'd rather just get blown out versus
Right.
them little close L's that happens here. Now I know but y'all was able, even I know, even seeing, yeah, y'all had a good turnout, and then I think you guys put on a show. I think that last game, because it was a televised game. That last game, wasn't it? Your last game,
Yeah,
right?
that was. No, I actually was City Grove also. I hate them because that year I think we about 5-1 maybe.
Hmm.
Played City Grove. I separated my ankle in the first quarter. We
Yeah.
wound losing like maybe 14-0. And then next week played Mount Lakes and we wound losing. I don't know. They put like 40 points with us.
Okay.
And then we came out Thanksgiving, had a great Thanksgiving. I was on the sideline. Kyle Douglas, my boy, played 2
Hmm.
touchdowns that game and went to work. So
Yeah.
but I was on the sidelines watching that. But that game was televised. That was a cool game.
Now, obviously, seeing you thinking about college here, how'd that whole recruiting thing go for you?
Well, it was definitely different back then than now. Back then, handwritten letters,
Yeah.
that type
Yeah.
of thing. So, but I think this is something our parents. My mother probably found out. I'm gonna say maybe 10 years ago. Maybe I'm still scared to tell her. So I almost didn't have a scholarship, right? Because
Okay.
like I said, you probably could tell that I got hurt a lot, right? I didn't technically have a complete football season until I got to college, right? So the
Hmm.
first coach that called me from Penn State, Coach Gadden, I taught the Penn State a lot, Coach Duke a lot. And most like, D1 schools, right? I remember UConn particularly said, we're not going to bother with you because you're going to go D1. I got my head gassed up. I think it's going to happen. Senior, I get hurt again.
Hmm.
Penn State said, you'll go D1, but we can't offer scholarship. Duke, all the schools start backing out a little bit. So it came down to Maryland, Holy Cross, which at the time I liked because they had a Heisman Trophy, candidate. I'm like, I'm going to play the position. I think maybe Colgate, they're like the 5-on-3. Everyone else kind of backed off. I didn't want to go to Maryland because that was Lenny Bias. I was there like a couple of days
Yeah.
after he died. I saw how the whole thing went down.
Mm.
And so really a week before signing date, Maryland backed out. I didn't want to go, but they were option. They backed out because 3 seniors, 50 seniors decided to stay.
Hmm.
Which were my scholarships. So Holy Cross was my only option, and academically they want me to write an essay to get in. So I did that. I got in, and that's the story. But I was close to not having an offer, and my parents did not know. So that's how
Hmm.
my recruitment process went.
And that's interesting. You mentioned as far as having to write an essay to get in. I mean, that just shows kind of what caliber school they are. You know what I mean? Just
Oh yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
just sports. It was like you need to put this other work in academically or what have you here. So, so that's interesting. And then you mentioned you get up there. Now was Gordy Lockbaum there? When you got there, he graduated.
He graduated. He was a senior in college when I was a senior in high school.
Okay,
So I got 1 year after him.
okay. So you get up there. I mean, it's not Newark, New Jersey. I mean, you're in Massachusetts. You got the accents. You got everything around, man. Like, how was that adjustment?
Yeah, it was culture shock. It definitely was. Now Miles Holt went to Mackler. He was 2 years older than me.
Hmm.
He went to Holy Cross too. So no, I didn't know him in terms of football, but it was definitely because you go on a recruiting visit, I saw all kinds of brothers. We went to Boston College, but like a Q party. I was went to the club. I was feeling
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Holy Cross. Then I get there, I'm like, where all the brothers at? So and the sisters. So it was a culture shock. It took a little while to adjust. It did.
Hmm.
It really was different. So but I made it, but it was different.
Now you get there. I mean, obviously, you end up switching positions too, correct?
Well, yeah, that was, of course, I played running back in high school. I mean, I caught one touchdown in high school. Coach Finn said, run down the field, throw the ball. Literally what I did. We was transitioned to run and shoot at Holy Cross. And so by the time my freshman year, we had maybe, I don't know, 10% I formation. By the time I came to sophomore, it was 100%, spread, right? So I played R, was now a slot back. So yeah, I know anything about running routes. So my freshman year, I really was confused. I just didn't know anything about running routes or running offense. So I was fast and quick and could catch, but I was really confused. So I played a lot of special teams. I go there and hit people, but I did not know I was doing on offense.
Yeah, you up there, you learning a whole new offense. You learning just kind of this freedom that you have, with the parents. It's a whole lot going on, man. Like, how'd you do it?
Well, I mean, it was a struggle because my grades my freshman year were bad. They were straight bad. I had like a probably 1.8 average my freshman year. Macklin, I always say Macklin, I did A's and B's in Macklin, but the kind of challenge, it wasn't the same. So in my mind, I'm working hard. I wasn't getting results, So that was difficult, my freshman year, just academic adjustment. By the time I came in sophomore, I worked it out, but that was hard. Holy Cross, it was a whole nother academic level, one I wasn't prepared for. So my second semester, I can't lie, I spent a lot of time going to Boston. That's where the brothers,
that's where it was at. Yeah.
I wasn't staying on campus, So my second semester, I got to calm down a little bit. Even it was a struggle. I just didn't know. There's certain things about learning I just didn't know. Like I thought, for example, studying with groups of people meant you're trying to cheat. I realized that's what smart people do, but I wasn't willing to do that. So I thought that meant, you're trying to cheat and get over. Things like that just wasn't part of my, immaculate experience. So it took a minute.
Nah, and I see that, man. But even on the field, because back then it was still the Patriot League, correct?
Yeah.
So it's the Colgates, the Lehighs, Lafayette. So you got some good competition you playing. Like different world. It's not Cedar Grove or Mountain Lakes here. These boys is hitting hard, and they grown men. Like and then you had to switch playing a different position here. When did you feel like you found your footing, like your groove when you was up there?
Spring ball. When spring ball came, I thought, okay, now I get it. There's still times like, man, when you just run the ball, just to run over somebody, right? But by the time spring ball came around, I got it. But I will say about Macklin, especially Tom Ken, our freshman year, and he was a beast. Coach Finn, and I was I did work out. So condition wise, Holy Cross wasn't over my head. I was able to run with them. I had the speed. I had the talent, the quickness, and just the conditioning. But that didn't kill me. So I was in good shape. I was able to fight, in terms of physical conditioning. It's just that I was out of place in the wrong position all the time. So when spring ball came, it finally clicked. Okay, this is what I need to do. Right? Sometimes I can't run 100 miles an hour. I got to break down, sit in a hole. Right? I can't just run through a hole. Right? So spring ball, that's when it really began to click. And I had some great coaches too. Most of my coaches, now are NFL coaches. They've been around major programs. So I had really great coaches at Holy Cross.
And you learned to start. It was a business too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Football was year round. It wasn't just your August to November. It was a year round thing.
Yeah. The weightlifting is why I didn't do it in Macklin. I did a little bit, right? But yeah, the weightlifting that was definitely a different ball game. I don't understand how important the weightlifting was. So I was probably 180 pounds, soaking wet, with a couple of bricks in my sneakers, right? So I was definitely, didn't have to wait. So I do remember, like, my in spring ball, right? Just had to two gap somebody, on a special teams, or the shed block somebody. And I was able to kind of keep my feet in front of them. I was getting thrown all over the place. I just had the strength to hold up. So going to my sophomore year and getting that weight up, that made a huge difference. So
now, as you playing, do you? Obviously the years go on while you're at Holy Cross. You be like, you know what? Do you see yourself playing at the next level, or do you just like, you know what? Let me make sure I lock up this degree and figure out some other stuff here. Like, what's going through your mind?
that was definitely a dream. I definitely wanted to play next level for sure. And I wanted to go to college. So my parents had to pay me to go to college. I wanted to make the NFL part because I want to take care of them, right? So it's definitely a dream. My sophomore year, I got a chance to. I was playing a nickel back again, Holy Cross with the spread. I played half the snaps. But one thing with this, my mindset is still a running back though. I still think a running back. Right? If I drop a pass, my mind was like, I want to run the ball, right? So I was trying to kind of get through that mentality. You know, my junior year we had a coaching switch, you know, and I wasn't playing. You know, even though we had, you know, our top 3 of our top 4 receivers came back my sophomore year to junior year, and I was on the top 4, and I wasn't playing. You know, definitely had a conflict with that. And that's why I began to think, okay, maybe I got to think about something else besides football. You know, senior, you know, I got a chance to start again, but you know, my junior year, once I wasn't playing, I began thinking about, you know, what else would I do with my life besides play football.
Yeah. And that's got to be tough. I mean, for any athlete, especially when you're playing at a high level such as yourself, like to be like, you know what, let me start figuring, like, do some other things concurrently here as far as figuring this thing out. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, that, and like I said, you know, keep it 100, keep the buck, as my kids say now, right? I didn't really play a whole football season until my senior year. My freshman year, I dislocated my shoulder. My sophomore year, I never missed a game. And last game of the season, I dislocated my shoulder again. My junior year, I came to camp with a strained hamstring, which is part of the reason why I got dropped on the depth chart, you know. And I'm pretty sure my shoulder popped out. They used to joke, like, Fred, when's your shoulder gonna pop out? How many times you put it back in during the game? You know, so all the injuries, I did realize that, you know, I still want to play pro if I can, but the chances are limited. Not just because of my talent, it's just, you know, the best player is the most available player, and I wasn't always available. You know.
Yeah, now interesting. And then, I mean, you got Holy Cross, and then from there, I know you talked about doing some coaching, but did you know you wanted to get into education? Did you know you wanted to end up where you're at right now in regards to being principal and administration? Did you think that?
Definitely not. I had to go to school, but I didn't love school. There was no desire in my mind whatsoever to be an educated teacher. I thought I'd get involved in business. You know, I always want to give back to the community, right? Go back to the neighborhood and work with kids maybe, but not as a teacher. What turned me on to teaching is a guy's name right now. He played football for, I think, Fresno State or Cal State, some West Coast team. I mean, he's older than me, and he was doing a PhD around at Harvard. And his whole idea was that if brothers, you know, Black kids, Latino kids, were taught in classrooms where they coached on the football field, we would do better in school. So one of my coaches at Holy Cross knew I was from Newark, you know, and this guy I think was from Jersey too. He had to come interview me. And I was like, that makes sense. You know, if somebody coached me in the classroom, I would be a better student, or I would like it more, right? Coach Mr. Dye actually was a good teacher. He was a really good teacher my freshman year. I remember a lot of things he taught me, right? But I think probably because he had coaching mentality. So that's what led me to teaching. That quarterback from someplace in California that came back and talked to me about coaching like a coach versus teaching like a teacher.
Interesting. I mean, that makes sense. And especially those who've played athletics. I mean, to make that connection in the classroom, you know, I mean, obviously nobody gonna make you get in a 3-point stands in the middle of the classroom, but as far as just talking and the delivery and kind of how the message is getting across, now I could definitely see the parallels with that. Now you mentioned you in New York. How was that? I mean, it's a different animal. Like, how is it as far as just, you know, never mind the commute, but I'm just talking about just being there and just being involved with the kids that you're working with. How's that been?
Yeah. When I left Holy Cross, I did move to New York. I was in Washington Heights. And I first started teaching in South Bronx. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but it was just fun to me. I could tell all kinds of stories about what happened in that school. But you know, one, I mean, I wanted to connect with the kids, right? I knew I was one of them, they were one of me. I got playing cousins, brothers, well, no brothers, but cousins, you know, family members that went to schools like that, you know, whether it's Shabazz or you know, Kennedy in New York, you know, and so I wanted to make sure I was one of those teachers that they could connect with. So I got along great with the kids, you know, I had, you know, we had some issues every now and then, but it wasn't much of a transition in terms of deal with the kids. So, and I did youth sports. I went to the gym and played basketball with them all the time. So that was cool because I could play basketball. I could block the shot. You know, so I took advantage of that. I'll go outside and play, man. Throw the football to them. So all that did help me. Is really some of the administration and some of the people that worked in school that I feel like didn't care about the kids. That was my real issue.
Yeah,
right? They didn't treat us with respect, and that was my biggest problem.
No, I can see that. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, I know you being an administrator now, but even back then, you know, or even now, some administrators, I mean, they get so far removed and forget, certain things that, how they got there, by these kids, you know what I mean? And I think, not only by these kids, but no matter where you are, you're supposed to still continue to do right by them. And I know learning is a little different, but in the same breath, it's still learning right now. So, I mean, and for you to continue to still be in New York, like once you got there, what did you teach? I mean, did you a certain subject, or you were just doing a bunch of other variety of topics?
Yes, I taught eighth grade English. We call it communication arts back then. So I taught eighth grade English. And it's funny,
Okay.
that was back in 92, 93. And last year, during this pandemic, on Facebook, some of my students from way back then found me. She went out to Harlem, and while I'm eating, some dinner, I remember this kid, Timothy said, well, kid, I mean, he's a fully grown man now, said to me, I remember you because you didn't want to teach about Malcolm X. You teach
Mm-hmm.
about Black history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows the impact we have. We relate to kids, connect with kids. This is whatever 30 years later, he still remembers some of those lessons. So I try to make sure I fuse the culture, connect them to what you're doing in school and what's happening in your community. Because I thought that was missing for me. I didn't understand how school can help me in real life. I just did it because I had to. But I didn't really know why I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I was doing eighth grade English, and then I wound up going to high school. Always English and history. I did a combination of both. I taught in high school for a while. I did come back to Newark. I was in North Star for a while.
Okay.
I was there for quite a few years, and so between Newark and the Bronx, I pretty much spent my whole life teaching as a principal until the last 5 years I've been in Harlem.
What made you want to become a principal?
Well, the truth, I didn't really want to be a principal. Like I didn't want to be teaching. But what I saw was there were not enough Black men in leadership, and I could do it. So I'm going to do it. There's too many, white principals, and some, great principals, right? But there's not enough people that look like me or from our neighborhood leading. And I want those kids to see that somebody from our neighborhood, from Newark or the Bronx or Harlem, East Orange, whatever, that you can rise, to higher levels of this profession. I just made sure, even as a principal, I still teach a class quite often. I just want to stay connected to the classroom. I still teach whenever I can, but I want to be that role model. Let them see that we could make this happen too.
Nah, and I can feel those sentiments. I do a little bit of adjuncting now, adjunct stuff, a couple of universities here, and just to see that Black female, that Black male in that class here, you kind of get a connection. Everybody, I mean, it's an even playing field. Don't get me wrong there, but I think just on their end to be like, wow, there's somebody that looks like me that's sitting here providing, the information and, teaching me in the tutelage or what have you. So I totally get what you're saying here. Totally get what you're saying. Then I know, speaking of that, I know you wound up just, doing some other stuff around, on race or what have you, whether it's Holy Cross. What's the name of it? I can't think of it. I think you even posted something today. I can't think it was what was the name? What's the name of the organization?
It's called CHARA. That stands for College of Holy Cross Anti-Racist Alliance. And so we started that. And really after George Floyd happened, so
Okay.
I guess to take it back a little bit. Now, again, I was always had the culture in me, right? My parents always instilled it in me. So even at Mackler one time, I had a beef. They about to suspend me or kick me out of school because I told them I wouldn't sing a song that was about, picking cotton.
Right.
And they said, the theme was celebration. And I was like, picking cotton not happy to me. I'm not singing that song. They thought I was playing. I was like, I'm not playing. I'm not singing that song no matter what you say to me. So Benji Sister Marine, I sat down. I said, okay, well, we had a concert, just don't sing it. And it worked out. So, okay, I agreed to that, And then as I got to college, I remember at one point I wrote this paper on Negro spirituals. I brought it back to Macklin and said, look, I wasn't playing. I'm still not playing. That song is inappropriate, So I've always, had that mindset. I'm not going for, this racist thing, the best of my ability, right? I want to try to, help change that. So this Charter Association comes from white and Black alumni, and it began with a white girl, again, a grown woman now, that remembers some things I did in college.
Okay.
She called me up when George Floyd happened and said she wanted to find a way to reconnect. And so, we've been working on helping Holy Cross and others just learn more about being anti-racist.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think hopefully that situation is not just a check a box. Hopefully it's something that's ongoing. Not only the conversations, but the actions start lining up. And it's interesting. You mentioned, not doing a song or what have you. I think about something as common as the national anthem. Folks don't realize it's like 3 or 4 stanzas to that, and the other stanzas you're talking about harming slaves and this and that. And I'll be honest, like I don't. I mean, I think the Kaepernick thing. obviously, brought a lot of awareness to it, but just even in regards to the song itself, like I said, you get whitewashed, in lack of a better phrase, like, hey, this is cool, this and that. But I don't stand. I mean, I'll walk out, I'll come back in the gym or whatever the case is when it's over. Like I said, I have like no feelings towards that song whatsoever here. I mean, I'm happy that I was born here and the freedom and some of the stuff, the luxuries I do have, but let's make this like that national anthem thing. Like I don't play that at all. Like I said,
Yeah,
because again, folks don't listen. It's 3 or 4 other stanzas, and if they really listen to it, they talking about all kind of stuff here. It ain't just those first 2 stanzas everybody's standing and clapping for.
yeah, yeah. But I tell you, I mean, the truth is, I love teaching, I love being a principal, but
Mhm.
I always love the education field, right? I think in a lot of things, the education field, we need to do a little better. So I still take a lot
Yes,
of lessons from sports, a lot of my lessons from sports.
definitely.
And so one of the things, that in football, sports, you taught to analyze, to think, right? You got, what's the coverage, and based on the coverage, I may have to do this or do that, right? You constantly think and constantly analyze, you look at the film, you critique it, you try to become better, right? You're always looking to evolve and grow. I think, in many ways in schools, we teach kids, what to think, but not how to think, right?
Yes.
So like just do what I say and do it that way. And if if you're a certain kid that loves that, you're good, right? But if you're not that kid loves that, now you're fighting back against the system. So I try my best, like a coach, I want to help you see the game,
Hmm.
evaluate the game, think about the game, and then go on the field and make your move, right? So do school have to help you learn how to think, not so much what to think, and then go in life and make your move. So
Nah,
that's how
definitely.
I try to educate people.
Definitely. And then even with the curriculums here, I know some of these curriculums are like prehistoric. I mean, kids are learning totally different these days, and I think a lot of school systems and districts got to get with the times here. Like I said, some stuff is still just so prehistoric here. Do you run into some of those issues here as far as trying to like alter or like improve the curriculum or take some things out that don't even need to be in there?
Well, it definitely happens. Now, fortunately for me, I've always been in schools that, well, almost always been in school. I feel like, the whole staff, the whole community, the leadership, all, down for the cause, if you will, right? There's some disagreements, but
Hmm.
the school I'm in, our executive directors from Jersey City, our middle school principals from Queens,
Hmm.
2 people from Queens, Judy Stiles from Union. So, we got people that, are from the community, from the neighborhood, Black and Latino people,
Hmm.
and even people that are white in our school that really understand our mission. Like we're there to make sure these kids that don't have a chance get a chance. And so I feel good about where I'm at. So when things do come up, as you mentioned, we're able to adjust. Last year we spent a whole year living once a month doing anti-racism training. And then we communicate some of that stuff to our staff, right? This year we're going on rather dealing with LGBTQ, plus, right? So always trying to challenge ourselves to think beyond our borders, right? And
Right.
make sure we reach everyone. So I do feel good where I'm at, but I did have a situation this year where it said, you know, how good the Quakers were to the Native Americans. I was like, well,
Mm.
good in comparison, you mean? But when
Right.
Native Americans told the Quakers, you got to go back home, you think the Quakers are leaving? No, they're
No.
gonna stay right there on the land that doesn't belong to them. So
Mm.
we need to understand, there's degrees of good, right? It's not just
Yes.
they were good.
Hmm. Yeah, and to that point there, I think facts are facts. And I think some people tend to like pretend that these facts don't exist. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like facts are facts with things here, and I think that awareness and everything it's just so important. And you mentioned something real key here, like how to learn and how to teach here. Again, not just drilling stuff and people say giving kids these young adults to the freedom to just think freely, but getting all the information and decide for themselves versus trying to shove something down their throat.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And speaking of kids here, man, like I know you got some children here, like you some athletes in that house here. How's things been with that?
Yeah, they make me look like I had no game. So my oldest son, who's now 33, he's about to have a child. So my first grandchild in April. He
Congrats.
they played on every sport, football, basketball, everything in high school. He actually went to Temple as a walk on, but unfortunately he had 3 concussions. So
Okay.
he had to give it up his freshman year. So but now he's probably the best athlete in the whole family. I mean, he could. He's only about 5'10", but the boy got rise. He could jump. He was fast. He's quick. His senior year, Chinook High School, they were like 9-2. They beat St. Joe's. There's a lot of D1 athletes on his team, so he was really good. Um, And then my second son, Isaiah, he's a senior at Stony Brook right now. He's 6'4". I don't know how he got all that height, where it came from, but he's 6'4".
Like the mailman wasn't too tall. He wasn't 6'4".
I know, right? I had to check out that mailman a couple times. Check the mailman out a couple times, but he was playing receiver. He switched over to outside linebacker.
Okay.
Over at Stony Brook now. And then my daughter's a sophomore. She's a dancer. She goes to Alabama State, so she's down at HBCU, does a dancing thing, and so the family's good. The family's good, all involved, all doing well. So I'm proud of my family.
And I'm sure
my
you
wife ran
playing
track too, so she
you got it. Oh, the whole house here. And I'm sure watching them and seeing them compete and doing everything, means the world to you versus whatever you've done. I mean, I think it's like a whole different feeling, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's playing the game itself is one thing, but watching kids, is nerve wracking. I think I definitely said a couple things I probably shouldn't have said from the stands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because you want the best for them all the time, right? So
right.
You gotta try to separate that parent from the coach. I try my best not to be that parent, that's going over the top, So but yeah, you love them, so you want them to be the best they could be, in sports, dance, whatever they do in their life. So
that's right. And speaking of sports, like, what is sports giving you that's like stuck with you to this day?
Man, everything. I mean, right now it's pandemic, and when they shut down sports programs, and my school we still can't have a basketball team this year. We still kind of shut down. But I just can't imagine being in school or high school or I can't. I think I will be in the streets indoor doing some things I shouldn't be doing. And my parents are strong. They're really strong, but that competitive edge, that desire, I guess you'll say to hit somebody, just that competition. If I didn't get through sports, I was gonna get it somehow. So it means everything to me. I could imagine living without it. As I said, most of my practices as an educator, I take a lot of lessons from sports. I learn in athletic arena.
Yeah. Nah, you mentioned this today, like these last couple of years with these kids done gone through. I couldn't fathom that. Not at all. Not at all. I know they're trying to push through a lot of the states here now. I mean, with everything and I'm hoping they can get through these winter sports. I mean, I know what things going on, but like I said, I couldn't even picture this.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I would say the last time I shot a basketball, was it was like the last real athletic thing I did other than the job, go to the gym a little bit, was on March 10th. I remember 2020, 2 years ago, because we were in the gym, and then 2 days later is when this whole shutdown happened.
Yeah.
And then they took the rims off the courts and the parks. It's like, so clearly, I'm not playing basketball on a regular basis, but just to be able to shoot a basketball, throw a football, just to be involved in athletics to me is everything. It keeps me sane. So it's been hard not having that outlet. So my son playing football this year helped. I got to see him a lot. But last year, this season got shut down. 1AA, they didn't play.
Yeah. Nah, and I mean, I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't even imagine that. So, like I said, I'm hopefully, like I said, one way or another, man, like everybody push through and this thing somehow curve itself and folks can get back to doing, things on a regular basis here. I hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so. I appreciate the time here. I got a few more minutes for me.
Yeah, I got some time for you. Yeah, just want to take a sip of water.
Nah, go ahead, man. As you're taking that sip here, I just like put people on the spot, have some fun towards the end here, man. Just be a little direct, random stuff too. So, obviously you're a Jersey guy here. So, Parkway to Turnpike.
Turnpike.
Okay. All right, being a North guy over in that part of North here, Bloomfield Ave or Park Ave?
Bloomfield Ave.
All right. When sports or nothing's around or you do anything, like, what do you like to do with yourself?
Oh man, when sports nothing around, like, hanging out with my wife.
Okay.
Going to movies.
Smart answer.
Hanging out in Manhattan. Yeah. Now she my friend too, so I can hang out with her. It'd be cool.
Okay. Then obviously you was immaculate back in those 80s here. So you got like some Valleys, some British Walkers. What we doing?
The British Walkers, definitely the BKs.
Okay. Best game you ever played in your life on any level, any sport? If something sticks out?
The best game I ever, well, actually, so basketball was probably my weakest sport. West Orange Christmas tournament championship game. I was 7 for 7 from the floor, 3 for 3
Okay.
from the free throw line, 17 points. We won the tournament.
Oh yeah, like a Christian late tonight. You was perfect,
I was on fire that night. On fire. Little jump hook layups, main jump shots. Yeah, that's probably the best game I played in any sport.
Best team you ever been on?
Well, definitely Holy Cross. I mean, you only lost like 4 games at Holy Cross. So my last year was undefeated with 11-0 my senior year. So that was definitely my best team I was on. And probably second best team was my sophomore year at Mac with track. I think we won every track maybe we were in except for maybe one.
Yeah.
So
Coach Lou or Coach Finn?
Well, I gotta go Coach Finn because I mean he got me the money to college. So
yeah.
Die with him.
Who's the best back? Ben Shermans, Lance Boston, or Fred Givens?
No doubt, Fred Givens. Even if it wasn't true, I still would say the same thing.
Yeah. As far as obviously you know a little bit of history of Mackler, what have you. The top 5 athletes to walk through those hallways, the Mackler hallways.
Wow. Well, I remember Marcus Hack was the man, you know. He was there before me in Syracuse when I got there. So Marcus Hack for sure, you know.
Okay.
Steve Theobald. I mean, he didn't play a lot of sports, but he could do every event. I mean, he jumped like 6'8" in the high jump.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, run around the 400 meters. You know, I think he won the pin relays, I think, in college. You know, so Steve Theobald, I would definitely be one of them. I think, you know, all of us from my class, I'm gonna put me, Lance, Mike Reed, we just gonna be one. We're gonna put it all together.
Fall together. Okay.
The teacher wasn't there with me that long. He came he was a junior, my senior, and he wasn't eligible to play. But no, he was a really great athlete. And then I mean, I gotta go with my people, Rich Kanai, you know.
Yeah.
Rich Kanai, Ozzy Olympian, but he was on a freshman basketball team and he could drop buckets, he could shoot a basketball. So Rich Kanai was a good athlete. He's on a little intramural volleyball team, so Rich would be my 5th person.
Yeah, y'all had a hell of a class, man.
Yeah, we did.
You had a hell of a class.
I think John Wujek, if he didn't, I mean, back then they didn't have the surgery they have now. He tore his knee bad. I think, you know, back these days, he would have got full ride without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, him. And you had Kelvin too, right? Kelvin was with you guys.
Yeah, Kelvin's really good. I mean, he wound up hurting his wrist his senior year, so yeah, you know, that messed him up. But I definitely think we had 6, you know, scholarship athletes. You know, John Wujek got hurt, you know, unfortunately, and you know, Kelvin got messed up, you know, with that, you know, got hurt actually on a job. He got cut on one of those machines, like literally cut his arm open, you know, so that messed him up. So, but we had talent.
However you want to define made it, who should have made it? Anybody, I mean, whether it's high school kid growing up with or whatever the case, somebody who should have made it. However you want to define made it.
Should have made it, but didn't make it, you mean?
Now, however you want to define made it. Somebody that, whether it was somebody from around the way or just somebody from school, whether it's high school, college, whatever the case is, however you want to define made it.
Well, I'll say you made it when you found happiness in life.
Okay.
Like you feel good about what you do. You don't have to wake up every day saying, damn, I'm going to work. Like more like, yeah, I'm about to have some fun today, right? Yeah. You know, and I think, you know, almost everybody that went to Mac with me feels that way. You know, Ben's obviously coaching out there in Green Bay. He's waking up having fun. Lance owns his own car service, you know, down in Alabama. You know, my boy Mike Reed out there, you know, he has we always say Mike Reed's like Tommy, you know, from back in the day with Martin.
He ain't got no job. He got no job.
But Mike Reed always has a job, and I mean, I see big important people know him, and he's their boss, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So you know, Rich Kanai down in Atlanta, he runs the Atlantic track club, you know. So I feel like all the people in my class, you know, they're happy right now. You know, sports help them get there. You know, some are doing directly, some indirectly, but if you could live life and not feel like you work today, you live in a good life.
Nah, well said, man. You feel like you got your just due?
Oh yeah, I can't complain about anything. I feel like God set a path for me. I feel like God gave me enough athletic ability to, you know, to get up there, but then took away enough to make sure I did other things in life that were probably more important. You know, so and one's raising my kids and 2 being his teacher, you know, so and then being a faithful husband. So he gave me, I get mad sometimes, he took it away from me, but you know, that's how I feel sometimes, but I feel good about where I'm at.
Nah. Definitely. What's the best part about being Fred Givens?
Best part about being Fred Givens, wow. Like I said, I just wake up every day feeling good about who I am. You know, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
my mother and my father died when I was 24, but I feel my mother and my father are proud of me. You know, I think my kids and my wife could be proud of me. So I feel good about being me.
Mm-hmm. Nah, definitely, man. What in regards to that, I know you've had many moments here, but if you could pick three of your best moments of your life, what would they be up to this point?
Well, one of my best moments and scariest, my daughter, my last child, she was born in my house. We were trying to go to the hospital and she came early, so I actually literally delivered my daughter.
Really? Yeah.
So that's the scariest and one of the best moments in my life. I think when I graduated college, and
Mm-hmm.
parents, saw me graduate and witnessed me graduate. And I think that was another great moment in my life. And then and probably when I met my wife, I didn't know it was gonna be what it became, but I think my wife saved me in many ways and a lot of other things I got into. So the day I
Mm-hmm.
met her, January
Yeah.
26, 1990.
Mm-hmm. Man, you good guy, man. You got the dates nailed down. Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. What you most proud of?
Most proud of, yeah, I'm probably gonna be repetitive now, but I'm most proud of being a father, you know, being a committed husband, and then
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
being an educator, you know.
Yeah. And I know this life's still going to continue on, God willing here. But if there was a book on your life, man, what would you name it?
Oh, it sounds like what's my bodega sign, right? Neon sign. It's
Yes,
gonna
yes.
be a book of my life. What would I name it? What would I name it? I would name it Do You.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would name
Mm.
it. Do You.
Do you? Yeah,
Do You.
yeah, yeah. Now, this Fred Givens, this part of your life here, what would you tell that 18-year-old Fred Givens? What advice would you give him? That senior year, 17, 18-year-old Fred Givens. What advice would you give him?
Oh wow. I'll tell one, get in that weight room. Stop playing, get in that weight room at 18. I'll tell start reading and writing the papers, stop playing around. Get that reading and writing done. I would
Yeah.
tell them that. And I think also tell them be open to more possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like take advantage of all things that come your way. Don't be so narrowly focused on just playing ball. Um,
Mm-hmm.
think about what else could possibly come your way.
Yeah. And you mentioned your parents. God bless them, man. What I was gonna say. What would they say? What would they say about you now?
Well, my mom's still with me, thank God. So I talk to her every day now. So I think she would say I'm hard headed. She definitely say that. I'm still hard headed,
Yeah.
but she think that hard headed probably kept me out of trouble. I wasn't never one that easily just peer pressure wasn't something I fell into too often. And she's happy I'm doing something that makes a difference. And
Yes.
particularly because I'm doing something for people of color.
That's
She's
right.
from Virginia. She's segregated South. She's been through a lot. So she really likes the fact that I'm doing something for our people.
Mm-hmm.
My father's not with me right now, but my father, he still talks to me all the time. I think he's my father's a fighter. And so I think he's glad I'm willing to fight. My father's the one that don't back down, nobody.
That's right.
Um, step up. Old school. Like, you don't have to win the fight, but don't come home and tell me you didn't fight. You
Mm-hmm.
better fight back. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think now in the job world, in my career, there's been times where I had to make decisions. And I let money make that decision for me. If it wasn't right, and it feel good in my soul, I stepped off. That's what he would want me to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's on deck? What's next?
Well, what's next? Well, let's get through this COVID. That's what's next.
Yeah.
Um, I think what's next is just more being this principal, is more leading school. But I do think I'm this child work that you mentioned. I'm more interested in finding ways to continue to work the anti-racism. Be more. I've always done within my school and
Mm-hmm.
in my immediate community, but I'm trying to find ways to reach out to a broader range of people. I feel like that's necessary, and I think I got a voice that people will listen to. I think I have enough patience to be able to deal with some of the nonsense, right? So that's kind of next. I'm trying to find more ways to reach out to a broader community, fight that anti-racist battle, and come hard when I need to, come soft when I need to, but
Mm-hmm.
keep coming. I'm gonna keep coming. I'm not gonna let it slide.
Nah, definitely. It's interesting you say that, and I definitely got maybe talk offline or whatever the case may be here. I do a lot of work around racial justice and all that other
Okay.
stuff here, as far as doing some work at a variety of universities or agencies and all that stuff. I mean, a couple of guys here. So, I mean, if it's something, I mean, we could talk offline as far as whatever interests or what you see yourself doing, and I'd love to have you. I mean, as far as if it is, even
Definitely.
if it's just a guest speaker or just popping in, just sharing your insight in the education world as well too. Like I said, so I mean, we all trying to like, move this needle and keep it where it needs to be, but have those actions and the conversations align with each other and make this thing a whole lot better here, not just checking no boxes.
Yeah, definitely both ways. I mean, I come your way, you come my way, but for sure, for sure.
Yes,
Again,
yeah, no,
sports does
definitely,
that too.
no,
Sports
absolutely, yeah.
show that you could black, white, and different. You got common goal. You can come together. I definitely have some people on my team. I feel like not immaculate, but a college. I don't know. Not sure
Hmm.
if I'm gonna hang out with you when the game's over, but but because of sports, we found a way to connect in ways that we probably would not have connected if it wasn't
Now
for
that
sports. So I want to
sports
try
is
to do it now in
right.
a broader spectrum.
Sports is definitely a common thread. And Fred, I want to say this, and again, this is just me being now this is the little fan in me, the little seventh, eighth grader, man. You guys are like superheroes to me, man. You know, just kind of, and again, I know it was on the athletic field and things you guys done and everything else here, man. But like you're like a superhero, man. And I was just like, if it was anything I could have tried to do and whatever the case is, I knew I couldn't get to you guys level or whatever the case is, man. But like I said, I damn sure tried. But like I said, for me, and I mentioned to you how excited I was to finally catch us to connect here. I just want to say thank you for like the memories and everything else here. Just gave me something to shoot for in regards to while I was at Immaculate. But even just this little window of time talking to you now, everything else you got going on, like I said, I'm just so proud to say that I know of you and I know you here. And I just say continue to keep doing what you're doing, man. Because like I said, I'm still that little Ibn and the fan in me here as far as just sitting here talking to you. You don't know how much this means to me. So I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And humbled by just a request to be here because you're the man too now. Don't just downplay that. Coach Finn told me about you. Like we got a kid here now. I was like, okay.
Yeah. But again,
So
I'm just following you guys, man. I just was following you guys. And like I said, and even outside of the sports, and I know that's the vehicle for a lot of us here. I mean, just the stuff that you just talked about, this other stuff that you're doing, and even more importantly, the husband and father that you are. Like I said, I mean, I can appreciate this even more, man. Like I said, I just want to say thank you.
thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Yeah,
Got you however I can.
and I mean what I say. Like I said, I could share some stuff offline, man. That's kind of what I got going on. If it fits, like in your schedule, or what you're doing, or vice versa, here, man. Like, let's do it, man. Like I said, the strength in numbers.
Definitely. I'm down for sure. Make it
Okay,
happen.
now I definitely will reach out, Fred, man, and you be well, and like I said, stay safe, you and the family and everything. Continue to do what you do.
Same to you, brother. Appreciate it,
All
man.
right, we'll talk, Fred.
Stay blessed.
Out,
Peace.
you too. Peace. Yeah, it's got a little choked up here. Like I said, some of these hit me a little different. And this is one of them, as far as just like I said, was Fred or just being in them hallways at 33 College Place here, means a lot to me. And like I said, these guys, like I said, such as Fred, and just hearing what he's done and continues to do with his life here, man, it's fabulous here. So even with that being said, I'm just gonna step away from this. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.